going on, guys? Eagle Aquatics back here, and in today's video I'm coming at you with another care guide, this time on arguably one of the most popular fish inside the saltwater aquarium hobby, being the hippo tang, made famous by the movie Nemo. Both the hippo tang and the clownfish, some of the most popular and sought after fish in the whole aquarium hobby. Everybody wants one. But they need to understand that there's a lot of stuff you got to know about them before you put them in a reef tank, and you have to know the size requirements and tank size, all that stuff. So I'm going to show you guys and tell you guys everything you need to know when before you try and keep one of these hippo tangs. Now they go by the name hippo tangs, blue regal tangs, blue tangs, all kinds of different names. It's a very, very, very cool fish. One of the coolest tangs. Probably one of my favorite tangs I've ever kept in my reef tank. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna start off saying about the care on these guys. I would say they're relatively easy fish to care for, especially for a tang. They're a pretty easy tang to care for. I'd say they're probably one of the easiest ones, honestly. Mine, he never went on a food strike or anything. He came right out when I bought him. I got him as a little baby. Within a couple days, he started eating everything, all kinds of stuff. They love seaweed. These guys are pretty easy. You get a lot of tangs like powder brown, powder blue tangs, Achilles tangs, stuff like that. They're very, very hard to keep and very shy, and they don't tend to eat a lot of stuff. But these hippo tangs, these bigger tangs, they love eating, and they usually come accustomed to food like really fast. So I don't think you guys will have a problem keeping these fish. The only really downside to keeping one of these fish, they are more disease prone. That's the thing. They're prone to ick and lateral line disease, fin rot, stuff like that. But I mean, if your water tank, or if your water is clean and clear, and you don't have high nutrient levels or anything that would cause their immune system to fail or be at an all-time low, and you have to feed them certain things in order to keep their immune system immune to these diseases, and you know where you're buying your fish, if you see all the tanks in the store healthy and everything, you trust the store, everything, the fish looks good when you buy it. I don't even quarantine my fish, I throw them right in. I've never had a problem with this dude. Just a great fish. They're disease prone, but I mean, it's easy to avoid disease if your tank is in the right parameters, has the right conditions to keep one, and you buy it from the right store. That's the key. Aggression on these guys, they're not an aggressive fish at all. I have had zero problems with aggression of this fish. They are a very peaceful tang, in my opinion. These are all my opinions, that's the thing. They're very peaceful. The one I've kept is extremely peaceful. He is one of the biggest fish in the tank, and he doesn't bother anybody. No inverts, no coral, no other fish, nothing. I bet you could keep this guy with a bunch of other tangs and you wouldn't have a problem. At least in my experience. I have them with one other tang being the mimic tang. They don't bicker, they don't do anything. So I would say they're very peaceful fish to keep in a tank. Even for their big size, they're pretty peaceful. They are a herbivore. The diet on these guys, they're major herbivores. And I mean, they're part carnivore too. Like, they like meaty foods, but they need algae. The one thing people have to know is tangs require algae in the diet. They need algae. I feed mine algae sheets, nori sheets every other day. They need it, tangs need it, all the other fish love algae. So, I mean, it only benefits the tank and the fish to feed it. I mean, you can not feed them algae, but they will not be nearly as healthy. And their immune system won't be that good if you don't feed them algae. They need it, it's what gives them their color. Well, their colors are much brighter when you feed it. It strengthens the immune system, and it's just really healthy for the fish. And old seaweed, it doesn't pollute the water. That's the thing, you know. So you cannot negatively affect the tank. All the fish benefit. Every fish in my tank, the triggerfish, the clownfish, everything eats the algae. They all love it. Wrasse love it. But feed them algae. And the other thing I feed the hippo tang, I feed them almost strictly mysis shrimp. I feed my whole tank strictly mysis shrimp and seaweed on a regular basis. They love mysis shrimp. They love meaty foods. But you gotta feed them seaweed and meaty foods, variety of that. I mean, they'll probably accept flakes and pellets, but you guys know me, I don't like feeding dry foods. Fish do not like it or accept it as easy as frozen. I'm just not a fan. The tang, he probably won't benefit, or they will benefit from it, but they definitely don't like it as much as frozen food. So feed frozen. That's for sure. Everybody knows these guys, reef safe wise, with these fish, extremely reef safe. They don't bother coral, they don't bother inverts, they don't bother anything. They're an open water swimmer. They love the reefs. They don't bother anything. So don't be afraid that this fish is not reef safe. Now the max size on these fish, which is where the controversy comes in, where people want to keep this fish, they have to realize that these fish get relatively big. I mean, they say they could get up to 12 inches. I don't know how big he'll get inside of a 125, because I plan to keep this fish in here for life. I'm not too sure, because to an extent they grow to the size of the tank. People have to realize that these fish can't just go in a 40-gallon tank. I wouldn't even keep it at a 75-gallon tank, if I'm being honest, because this fish grows extremely fast in my tank. This is hands down the fastest growing fish in the tank. If you feed these guys seaweed and a good diet, they're gonna grow pretty quick. Like, I've had this guy for a year and a half, I would say. He's probably grown a good 4 inches, guaranteed. I got this guy who's like the size of a quarter or $half. So they grow very fast, and people always want these newbies in the hobby. They want them for 20-gallon tanks and stuff like that. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So that brings me on to the next part of the video. Minimum tank size. In my opinion, the tank, it's more about the length of the tank. That's the thing, because these guys love swimming. They need a lot of swimming room, like all tanks. So any tank that is at least 6 feet long, I wouldn't go any lower than 6 feet. It's more width of the tank, or more length of the tank than anything. Minimum tank size, pretty much the smallest six foot tank that you could get, aside from being custom made, is a 125-gallon tank. So I would say the minimum tank size for these guys would be 125 gallons. I mean, they might do good in a 120. Honestly, you could probably keep them in there. It's just not that the 120s aren't as long. That's the thing. So you might not be as happy, but 120, I would say the minimum tank size, but ideally you want a 6 foot long tank. Like, it could be less, it could be near 100 gallons or less. If it's 6 feet, I would say I'd be comfortable with that, honestly, in my opinion. You know, they like the swim room, because these fish love to swim. They get along with other tanks, as I said, and they love the seaweed and all that stuff. And look at it. Let's explain this fish unique body style for this species of tang. It's not like other tangs where they have the pointy face, like you can see the mimic tang right there. That's more of the classic tang style. This hippo tang, more of an ovalish shape, and of course they have the classic colors of Dory from the movie Nemo. Just a gorgeous fish. Awesome, awesome fish. But you got to keep these guys fed. If you don't feed these guys seaweed, they'll get a pinched stomach. You just got to keep them fat and healthy, and they'll do just fine in your tank. They're very fast, and you can see all the different colors. Just amazing fish. You say larger reef tank, you can keep them fish only, but just an excellent fish to keep in a reef tank. And hope you guys learned something from this video. Hope you beginners out there learned a little bit of something. So just don't put this guy in a small tank. That's the thing. They don't deserve that, and they won't do good in a small tank. That's all I'm saying. So hope you guys learned a little something before you go out and buy one of these guys. Very easy. I highly recommend them. Easy to keep fish. They are, one last thing, they are pretty expensive for a solar tank. You're gonna pay anywhere from $70 to $100 for these fish. I think I paid $80 for mine. So they are not cheap, but they're definitely worth the money. Hands down, definitely worth the money. So thank you guys again for watching. Subscribe, share the notification bell, stuff like that. Share the video, like the video. Please leave a comment down below. I answer every single question. So if you guys have any questions, I answer every question, or at least like it, but I try to answer every single one. DM me on Instagram with any questions, and at Equal Aquatics. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video.
I am